Welcome back to Next Gen Console Watch, our show following the latest gaming hardware. I'm Daemon Hatfield. This week I'm joined by Max Scoville, host of Podcast Beyond, and from Podcast Unlocked is Ryan McCaffrey. You may have seen last weekend that Rocket League developer Psyonix revealed a sneak peek at an updated version of the car soccer game running on Unreal Engine 6. This is a rather unceremonious reveal of the new engine. Unreal Engine 5 was revealed around this time of year back in 2020 with a tech demo that showed off Nanite for geometry and Luden for dynamic lighting. It was a cool demo, although it could be argued that 6 years later, no game has really met the promise of that demonstration. So, okay, I guess Unreal Engine 6 has kind of soft launched with Rocket League. That begs the question, what other games will adopt it? Ryan, Halo's a good place to start. I think a couple years ago, Halo Studios announced it was transitioning from its proprietary Slipspace engine to Unreal Engine 5, and indeed, Campaign Evolved is in a UE5 game. Looking forward, the next Halo would be what, Halo 7? Is that right?
Maybe. I mean, we got to see which direction they're going with this because, of course, Campaign Evolved is shipping day and date on PS5. Everything Microsoft's been doing has been coming to PS5, but now Asha Sharma, the new Xbox CEO, is rethinking exclusives. So the fact is, the next mainline Halo is really, really far away still. I mean, Campaign Evolved, and I say this totally respectfully, it's an engine test, right? It is a project to get a Halo game out because it's already been 4.5 years since the last one. And it's a chance for the team to get its feet wet on Unreal Engine as they transition, like you said, off of their own proprietary technology onto Unreal Engine. So whatever the next Halo is, whether they do continue with a Halo 7/Halo Infinite 2, or they continue down the remake road and remake Halo 2, or they do something completely different, by the time it comes around, it is almost certain to be on Unreal Engine 6. That much is pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, what about sort of keeping within the Xbox wheelhouse? What about Stalker 3? Because Stalker 2 launched on, I believe it was Unreal Engine 5.1, and then last year the devs actually upgraded the whole engine to 5.5.4. They've got the Cost of Hope expansion coming out this summer. Stalker 3 is not announced yet, but what do you think? Pretty good odds it would be built on Unreal Engine 6.
I mean, Unreal is so prevalent in the industry, and it's really, from my understanding, talking to a number of developers just over the years, a big plus for Unreal Engine seems to be its tool set. Like it appears to have a very friendly, easy to use tool set and a lot of good support from Epic for it. I'm sure there are a million reasons why any developer chooses a particular engine, but that's one that I tend to hear fairly often. And so, yeah, I think for GSC Game World, it's probably likely that they will stick with Unreal Engine since they are already familiar with it and they have already built multiple games off of it. And so, yeah, by the time we get around to the probably inevitable Stalker 3, it will most likely be on Unreal Engine 6.
Max, Unreal is popular with several Japanese developers as well. Square Enix is one of them. The Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy runs on Unreal Engine 4, actually. And then they've confirmed that Kingdom Hearts 4, the long in development Kingdom Hearts 4, will be on Unreal Engine 5. Whenever it's announced, Final Fantasy 17, think it's likely that will be an Unreal Engine 6 game?
I don't know. That's a tough call because I really can't help but feel like Unreal 6 is maybe further out than we think. Again, we've seen so many games have the promise of Unreal 5, and obviously it's sped things up and it's made really impressive graphics and tech more accessible to smaller teams. But it takes a while for people to adopt things, and if a game is years and years in development, it's extra work for them to shift it over to another setup. I mean, depending on how easy Epic makes it to transition between the two engines. But Final Fantasy 17 is a series of words that at one point seemed like a joke, but at some point we might get that. But I do know that one thing that Square's dealing with is the sort of what to do with that brand exactly, because they've been trying to get newer audiences into FF7. They've got that third one on the way. Kingdom Hearts 4, which is again the 15th entry in that series. These are epic long-running franchises that maybe a new engine is a good way to get a fresh start and new eyes on something if they're trying to really give it a jolt there.
Yeah. Tekken over at under the Bandai Namco label, they've been using Unreal Engine since Tekken 7. Tekken 9 is not yet announced, but I think that one's probably pretty likely. Ryan, what about the next Batman Arkham game? Because Arkham Knight was Unreal Engine 3, and then they did Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League on Unreal Engine 4, I believe. But now that's been a couple years. They haven't announced their next project, so I guess another good question to ask is: you think a new Arkham game is likely from them?
Well, that's what our friend Jason Schreier had reported in a big piece he did in sort of the wake of the unfortunate kind of disaster that was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, that the team was starting early work on a new Batman game. Whether it's in the Arkham verse or not certainly remains to be seen. I think it's probably more likely than not that it is, given that they've built up that branding. I will continue to cross my fingers and hope for that Arkham, Arkham, call it Arkham Beyond, just, the Batman Beyond theme. That would be, especially with, since Kevin Conroy is unfortunately no longer with us, he will not be obviously voicing Batman in the future. So why not do the Arkham take on Batman Beyond? But I digress. Yeah, Daemon, you're reminding me how damn long it's been since we had a proper Arkham game. That it was Unreal Engine 3 was Arkham Knight back in 2015, if I remember correctly. So it's been over a decade.
Yeah.
Which means that, since it does seem like Rocksteady is still in its pretty early stages on its next project, I think it is probably more likely than not that it ends up being an Unreal Engine 6 game. I mean, Max makes a great point that these developers, if they're mid-development, it's not just a file save as to switch everything from Unreal Engine 5 for 5.5 over to 6. But some of these ones that we're talking about so far, where they're just so we know they're happening, but they're so early on in development. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones where it's probably a lot more likely that they will ship on Unreal Engine 6.
Well, sort of like maybe on the flip side, we're talking about all these games that are likely to ship with Unreal Engine 6. What about something like Borderlands, the next Borderlands? Because Borderlands 4 uses Unreal Engine 5, but it launched in such a messy state on PC at least. Do you think that's something some developers may want to go in a different direction?
Definitely possible. It's so, and Borderlands in particular is so stylized that I won't say it doesn't matter what version of Unreal Engine it's on. That would be a very ignorant non-developer thing of me to say. But I wonder if the benefits of it to the gamer, to the customer, might not be as obvious. If it's advantageous for the development team at Gearbox to do it, certainly they're going to do it. But yeah, that one. But again, like Borderlands 5 is probably pretty far away. It's that one's a little tougher to say.
Mm-hmm. What about so there's Black Myth Wukong was on Unreal Engine 5. A sequel is announced. Ryan, we put up a trailer, some gameplay. They said it's in engine, but I don't think they explicitly said it's Unreal Engine 5. Is that right? I think we can.
I'm not entirely sure with that one. It's definitely one of the better looking games we've seen in quite some time. And it's been really cool seeing more developers from the East use Unreal Engine. That didn't used to be a thing. I mean, that was really the first big game that I remember. I'm not saying it's the first one, but the first big game I remember coming out of the East that used Unreal Engine was the cult classic Xbox 360 cult classic Lost Odyssey, which was based on Unreal Engine. But yeah, it's whatever the folks at the Black Myth developer are doing, it's working, visually speaking.
Yeah. That fish that she was slicing up looks pretty good. Max, what about Mass Effect? The next Mass Effect, so Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem were both Frostbite. Then they switched to Unreal Engine 3 for the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and then Dragon Age, the Veilguard went back to Frostbite. What should we expect from the next Mass Effect?
Studios under EA have a weird situation there, because there was a minute there where marching orders were specifically use Frostbite, which was, developed by DICE to run Battlefield. And it isn't necessarily the best engine to use for something like a character-driven RPG. And I know there was talk about BioWare struggling with that here and there. And then, famously Respawn kind of swooped in and they were like, no, we're going to do the Jedi games in Unreal. And I think that kind of broke down some barriers. And, the one upside to having to using Unreal is that it's not proprietary, meaning that if you're hiring from outside of the company, people can know what they're doing. They're, you can train up on it, and you can take it, between studios. It's not like some top secret tool set that's only allowed to be used under EA. I don't know what to expect from Mass Effect. They're working on something. They've been they've been nose to the grindstone, I guess, for a while. I could definitely see them putting out an incredibly polished looking game in Unreal, and if I had to guess, that would be preferable than doing it in Frostbite, but you never know.
Yeah. And then there's BioShock 4, the next BioShock, whatever ends up being called. Its developer, Cloud Chamber, not too long ago, they were hiring a senior gameplay programmer that would work within Unreal Engine 5. So that's probably still, the game is probably still a long ways off. I would expect it to be running on either UE5 or UE6. And then The Witcher 4, Witcher 3 used CD Projekt's proprietary Red Engine 3, but I think last year or the year before, CD Projekt publicly announced it was switching to Unreal Engine 5 for The Witcher 4, which I think is interesting. But then, Max, what about Hideo Kojima's stuff? He has the Decima engine, which was used in Death Stranding 2, which is very, very impressive. But then for OD, he's using Unreal Engine 5. What do you think he's using for Physint?
I would guess the Decima engine, or maybe Decima 2, if that's a thing, whatever the next gen thing is. That feels very much like just a big collaboration with Sony that's really kind of working with them, and I think they're gonna try to push their own tech, despite the fact that Sony and Epic did go into some degree of little business handshake. I think Sony gave them $250 million or something like that. No big deal, just some pocket change. And they obviously, the different hardware manufacturers, they want to make sure that their tech is suitable for the engine, and the people making the engine want to make sure that their engine's suitable for the tech. Kojima strikes me as the type who just wants to kind of really push things to the boundary. He wants to tinker with, whatever he has in front of him. I know that he basically went globetrotting looking for the perfect engine for Death Stranding when he was still assembling Kojima Productions, and allegedly Herman Hulst, who's now basically running PlayStation, presented Kojima with Decima engine in like a little box. I don't know if he just had like a thumb drive for it or something, but there was a sort of pageantry to it. And looking at Death Stranding in action, like clearly he's taken full advantage of that thing. But then looking at the demo for OD, equally impressive, because it's really, I think that's a team of developers who know how to really squeeze every last drop of I guess impressiveness out of a video game engine and whatever hardware they're working with. Physint feels like it isn't coming out for a cool minute though, so I no idea what we're doing there. On the note of Metal Gear though, I do want to shout out another UE5 game that looks maybe too good to be true, which is Black State, which is that UE5 game that looks very Metal Gear, but with like dimensional hopping. Again, one of those things where it and again, Black Myth Wukong felt this way initially. We're seeing it in action, whatever they were calling gameplay. We're all kind of like, that's very cool, but that's not gameplay. And then
I played that game,
and it looked great.
Played it at GDC. It does look fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, is it a full game? Is it a vertical slice? It remains to be seen. They obviously they have demos like this running on incredibly souped up rigs that aren't. And they're not worried about optimizing. They really wanted to showcase what they can do. So the finished product might be, toned down a little bit, but still, this is stunning, and it's UE5. So it's going to be a while before we see what anyone can do with UE6.
Yeah. It'll be more than Rocket League. Fortnite will probably be an early adopter. Fortnite was an early adopter of UE5, and of course, its own, it's Epic's own game anyway. So we definitely expected it to appear in Fortnite. The next Mortal Kombat, I think, is likely. Mortal Kombat 1 was Unreal Engine 4, actually, and I'm surprised by how many recent games in recent years were he still using UE4. Next Mortal Kombat, not officially announced, but Ed Boon did recently tell us we're definitely pursuing another Mortal Kombat game, so that will come eventually. Of course, Expedition 33. Clair Obscur Expedition 33. That was an Unreal Engine 5 game. They saw so much success with that. I would be surprised if they wanted to switch to a different engine. And then the last one I wanted to mention would probably be the next Hogwarts Legacy. That's another one. The original game was Unreal Engine 4. And in 2024, WB said a successor to Hogwarts Legacy is one of the biggest priorities in a couple of years down the road. Here we are a couple of years down the road, and there are some rumors that the sequel could be officially announced. We're just about ready to kick off event season. It's a time when lots of games are announced. So who knows? Maybe the next Hogwarts Legacy will become a real thing very soon. Viewers and listeners, we want to know, of the games that have already been released that use Unreal Engine 5, what game has made the best technical use of the engine? Not necessarily your favorite, but which game actually is most technically impressive running on Unreal Engine 5? Hogwarts Legacy, The Finals, Black Myth Wukong, the Silent Hill 2 remake, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, or Clair Obscur Expedition 33. You can vote at IGN.com or on Spotify the day this episode goes live, and we'll share the results on next week's show, just like we can with the next show. I think we'll be taking next week off because there's this little event called IGN Live happening, but the next episode, we'll share the results with you. Like we can, the results from our last episode, we asked what summer showcase are you most excited for? Perhaps, unsurprisingly, PlayStation came away with the lion's share of the votes, but Ryan, Nintendo and Xbox are pretty much neck and neck. There's equal amounts of excitement and anticipation for both Nintendo and Xbox's showcase. Do you think that's because it feels like there's change in the air happening over Xbox with new leadership?
For sure. And to give them credit, the last 2-3 years have been really good with as far as the Xbox showcases go. So hopefully they're starting to build up a little bit of a reputation for putting on a good show. This year, I mean, we're going to get... we know we're getting a big gameplay demo with the immediately following direct of Gears of War E-Day, which means we're definitely getting a release date for that. We should see Fable and get a release date for that. There's plenty to look forward to with this one. And then obviously Nintendo, they've got the advantage of mystery going for them. Yeah. I mean, recent leaks aside, there's what are they going to show? When are they going to show it? And then if and when they do have a direct, are they going to reveal the Ocarina of Time remake that did get leaked? So there's fun stuff to look forward to all around.
Yeah. Speaking of fun things to look forward to, IGN Live 2026, right around the corner. It's a 2-day celebration of gaming and entertainment. It's happening June 6th and 7th. Downtown here in LA, and it'll be filled with celebrity panels, exclusive game reveals, live stage shows, live podcasts, giveaways, much more. As part of IGN's 30th anniversary celebration, we are giving away 30 free IGN Live tickets a day. Go to live.ign.com and use code IGN30promo to get your free ticket. We hope we see you there. That's our show this week. Thank you to both Max and Ryan. We will be back in 2 weeks after IGN Live to talk about the latest gaming news. Thank you to everyone working behind the scenes to make this show possible. My name is Daemon. We'll be back in 2 weeks with more of the latest gaming hardware. We'll see you then. This episode of Next Gen Console Watch was produced by Daemon Hadfield, Jobert Atienza, and Sam Claiborne. Daemon is also the host, and Max Scoville and Ryan McCaffrey serve as regular panelists. Technical direction is by Jobert Atienza, with technical production by Marian Franzen and Amir Rakib. Audio engineering is handled by Amir Rakib. Post-production editing is by Jobert Atienza, and graphic design is by Justin Vachon. Next Gen Console Watch is an IGN production and part of the Geek Media Network.